My name is Jeff Axelrod, and on 9/11/2001, I was 28 years old and working on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. The interesting thing about the floor were there were no offices, so our offices were on Wall Street. Whenever you had to have a meeting, you had to meet in somebody's office. On Tuesday, September 11th, 2001, I was scheduled to be in a meeting on the 42nd floor of the North Tower at 9 a.m. On the Friday before 9/11, my father asked me if I wanted to go golfing to get away prior to my wife giving birth to our first daughter, Lindsay. I said yes, and as a result, on 9/11, I was down in Naples, Florida. I had two workers that attended the meeting for me on the 42nd floor of the North Tower at 9 a.m. As I woke up to play golf on that day, I was eating breakfast in the clubhouse at Tiburon Golf Course in Naples with my father, and the TV was on, and we saw breaking news of a report that a small plane flew in to one of the World Trade Center towers. At that point, we didn't know what was going on. About 15 minutes later, we were watching the news and watched live when the second plane hit. I immediately called my two workers and told them to get out of the building. They ran out of the building, down the stairs. They said it was pure chaos. When they got out of the building, there was debris flying around in the city. There were bodies falling from the tower, and it was absolute chaos and destruction. I was relieved to have not been there and relieved that my two workers and friends were able to get out alive and get back to their family. I spent the next 4 days in Florida because all planes and flights were grounded and we couldn't get home. The scariest thing for me about this whole ordeal was that the New York Stock Exchange reopened on Monday, September 17th, and we had to go back to work. Every subway system below William Street was closed, so we got off at William Street. When we got up to ground level, there were tanks and armed soldiers escorting us down to the World Trade Center area and onto the floor of the stock exchange. It's now 19 years later, or 18 years later, and I still will never forget the smell and the stench of twisted metal and just pure chaos. The day for me is very emotional because if my wife wasn't pregnant with our daughter Lindsay, I would have been in that North Tower, and I don't know if I would be here today.